on this edition of Let's Talk Cincy.
This industry is a $1.8 trillion industry, and we have an opportunity here to be a part of that. So you have to start with teaching the trades, educating them on the business side of it. The economic impact of this industry is mind-blowing. And yes, that's been my focus from the beginning.
From WLWT, this is the Emmy Award-winning show, Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller, and welcome to Let's Talk Cincy. I want to begin today's program with a story about a project that has transformed the old jailhouse in Queensgate into a hub for artists and other entrepreneurs. It's called Lincinnati. It is described as a bold reimagining of space and purpose, creating more than 100 studios and offices at an affordable price tag. I want to introduce you to one person who was sold on Lincinnati. She is a fashion designer who once had a business out in Los Angeles, but is now witnessing the great potential of the industry right here in the Queen City. So talk a little bit about this building as much as you know about it and how you even connected with it. I mean, this used to be an old jailhouse.
Yes, it is the old workhouse is actually what everyone said. So upon coming here and kind of sinking into this whole art creative world here in Cincinnati, I had a smaller office and was looking to expand, looking to do, actually to get a larger space, a studio, and to be able to work all aspects of what I do. And I was told about this building, which happens to be pretty close to where I live. And came down here, it was raw. They were still putting up the walls. And, I came up to the floor that they said would be the first floor developed, which happened to be this floor, the 6th floor. And I came and I saw this view. And although it was an ugly building, I saw the potential and how it literally could be the center of this city as it relates to the art. And I thought, representing more of the fashion, I thought, I want to get in. And so I was the first to sign a lease here. And as they began to tell me more about the building, they began to talk about the history of the building and the idea of being able to turn something great out of something that was not so great. And now building off of that, they've built something even more so, which is an ecosystem of creatives. And there's more than creatives here. But just to know that this building and this space that I'm in, what used to occupy it, and how we've been able to do a 180-degree turn on what it represents now.
I mean, there will be no event space in the city with a view like this. It's some next level. It's some next level energy. Lincinnati has a whole plethora of great assets. From free parking 5 seconds from downtown, tall ceilings, but the views out the east side of the building, which were bricked up, and we return them to windows. So we produce, clean, painted, beautiful space, but it's not fancy, and the price point allows everybody to take advantage of it.
If you had a space like this in LA,
yes,
how much more would it cost you? 4 times as much as you're paying now?
When I just look at the square footage, the view, the proximity, the park, all the things that are the benefit of being in this building, I would say the cost of this in Los Angeles proper, you're probably talking about 5 times as much, easy. I knew the business side of it, but I also knew the other creative side of it, being a designer myself. And coming here to Cincinnati and really seeing the creativity, without saying the potential, the creativity that exists here, and the fact that it's known as a creative place in many of the arts, the music. You go around, you see the buildings and the artistic ability on those. And I said, now I know and I can feel the presence of designers in the fashion apparel industry, but there was not a platform that I felt was deserving that they had been put on. In other words, there was not ways that the people in the city in this region could see really, really the creativity that exists in the designing minds in this region. So I decided to myself produce what we call the Fashion at the Fountain. Did it for 3 years and focused and was able to highlight and motivate and cultivate 12 designers each year with over 60 models.
This was a fashion show that took place on Fountain Square.
Yeah, we did build a runway around Fountain Square that many people thought was maybe not a great idea initially when I presented it to them. And I, in my mind, I thought it has to be something pretty dynamic in order to shock them into the attention of what we really have here. And so I didn't want to do something that was the norm, something that was expected. And in doing that, it accomplished just that. Most people that attended the first year were floored with what was presented, and not just in that I presented it, but just in the creative designers, the models, every aspect of that production was an opportunity to put on display the gifts and the abilities that are here in this region.
The other thing that you do, you're teaching people your passion of sewing. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the foundation, which is the MAC Foundation, we have workshops. We have seminars, symposiums, and it's all about elevating and taking those that already have the gift or those that have a desire and a career path within the apparel industry, and giving them what they need, the tools, the equipment, the instruction, the advice, the mentorship, and even in some cases internships, where we're not only teaching or giving them an opportunity to learn more of a craft or a trade, but giving them an opportunity to learn about a career path that can earn them money, that can build a career off of. This industry is a $1.8 trillion industry. And we have an opportunity here to be a part of that. So you have to start with teaching the trades, educating them on the business side of it. And then ultimately what we're doing with our foundation is building out a pillar program, which is career paths within those industries. We have a creative center that's next door to where I am, and it has a machinery, it has the things that are needed in order to teach sewing, pattern making, draping, styling, all of these things that are really major pillars within this industry that are great career paths.
It's going to take a while for this building to fill up, but I've noticed that several people have offices in here, and it's slowly but surely gaining the attention of others.
It's building up actually pretty fast. And because once it got out and people started just really mostly by word of mouth, there's been a bit of media around it, but by word of mouth, and they come down here probably as yourself and they see and they're blown away at what is actually this building has become. Coming from the industry and realizing that if there's really room for growth, or if there's really opportunity to be given to the designers here, there has to be an element of what Fashion Week is about.
I want to rewind to something you said earlier because I want to underscore it. I think if you are not familiar with the industry, you might not get it. You said, if I believe, over $1 trillion.
1.8 trillion.
So that's nearly $2 trillion in the fashion industry. I remember having discussions with people about the economics of the arts community.
Yeah.
Cincinnati has a great arts community. And once people connected the dollars and cents to it,
Yes.
then it made sense to them why you have to invest in it, your
Right.
time and attention. So my question to you is, I would imagine that's your challenge here, getting people to understand
Yes.
this is not just fun and games. This
Right.
is this can be an economic
Yeah,
boom.
the economic impact of this industry is mind blowing, and yes, that's been my focus from the beginning. When doing the first time doing fashion at the Fountain, I found myself, whenever I would introduce the concept, I would have to explain this is more than just a show. You may be entertained, but this industry is not about entertainment in that sense. Yes, the fashion industry is definitely connected to the entertainment industry because every entertainer is being dressed by someone. Every person that hits that red carpet, what do they talk about? Who they're wearing. The impact of what this industry has on so many other industries is many times overlooked. And is overlooked because people are distracted by, a beautiful gown or a beautiful suit. And so they don't think about how many jobs were created from that piece. What the process to make a garment is.
If you live in New York, you fully understand it.
You grasp it.
Right.
But we see here in the Midwest and other places, Los Angeles, we get it because we have the entertainment industry. So we know the impact. But unless you've been around it, unless you've had opportunity to really feed into being able to provide apparel or clothing for entertainers and things, then you don't realize the impact, the economic impact, which is really it. And another side of that, other than just, being able to design for entertainers or sell into boutiques, is the manufacturing side. Small batch production, which is one of the things that we're growing into with our creative center, to be able to do small batch production. Well, why does that make sense? Because number one, manufacturing has went over, offshore for years. And I remember when it was in Los Angeles, it was when I had my manufacturing company. And to realize that, to set a foundation, to be able to be a place that we can really make impact in this region by providing small batch production for all these creatives. Because let's face it, in this world of fashion and fast fashion and things, to be able to provide designers and creatives with smaller batches of clothing and not having to do, back when I was manufacturing, you had to do 300 of one design, one color. Now you can do a small batch and say, you know what, I only want to do 25 pants. And, and then you're able to stay within reason economically for that designer, but you're also able to give them an opportunity to have a platform on this global platform in a brand.
Welcome back, everyone. Another creative business venture that's been taking place here in our city for more than 10 years now. It's called Halibration. It has become a business marketplace and holiday celebration. It is a way to showcase vendors. Organizers also provide workshops for vendors to help them grow their businesses because the biggest barriers, as you can imagine, for many folks starting out is marketing and capital. Over the years, some of those vendors that did not have retail establishments now have them. And with me today, two people, Kathy Lewis Norman, co-founder and chairperson, and Chuck Futel. He is the co-chairperson for Halibration 2025, and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This is year 13.
Yes, it is.
Wow, it's hard to believe it's been 13
I know,
years.
it is.
Tell me how this all started. You're a former P&G person. I would imagine that your mind was racing as the P&G person as you developed this, huh?
Yeah, the way it started is, number one, I had been traveling a lot over the years, going to different events similar to this in other cities. But a church member and I sat down one year and just said, you know, there's nothing going on during the holidays for our Black businesses to be able to have a chance for the community to come in and shop with them. And so we decided, we were both business people, and she had jewelry, I had my Mary Kay business, and we decided we wanted to start something, so we did. And we started that in 2013, and we started it out, we had about 200 people. And as things grew, we've peaked at about 1,700 people coming
Wow.
through over. We expanded to 2 days, and we incorporated some other partners in what we were doing, the Collective Empowerment Group and the African American Chamber. So it started from just that thought about let's do something to bring the community together and give a chance for businesses to get new clients and to expand. And that's where it grew to. So now we're at year 13.
Wow, Chuck, your business mind also probably leaped on this because it really is a great project.
Yes, it is, and we really enjoy it because I partnered with Kathy years ago. I knew her from P&G. Back in the day, I started at P&G.
Yeah.
And when we put our minds together, we said we need to do something different. I'm a financial guy now, and so I said, let's make sure the money is right.
Yep.
We have to make sure the money is right, and we've been able to do some things to help grow the businesses in this environment. We do a little coaching for them. Obviously, the marketing is there. The organization drives marketing for these small businesses. But we've reached out to other businesses to get involved. So we have some banks that are partnering with us, as well as the Collective Empowerment Group, and as well as the African American Chamber.
Every time I've gone, it's a lot of fun too. I mean, we can talk about the business side, but there is food, there's entertainment,
Yes.
the shopping opportunities. It really is a lot of fun
Yes.
as we ease into the holiday season, huh?
Yeah, that's the truth. We make sure the fun is there, and you know that. We get the best entertainment in the city. Just like this year, we're going to be having Lavina Campbell and friends. We're also going to have Ed Sachs Thomas coming with us on that Saturday. But we also bring the church choirs out on Saturdays so that our churches get a chance to be profiled and get a chance to sing and bring in the Christmas spirit. And so we really make sure we have a lot of good entertainment. And this year we also have something unique with the Scouts. They're coming to us, and they're going to be there and providing information about the Scouts, and also doing the color guard processional. So we try to have different things so people can enjoy themselves and also have a chance to shop. And we have 2 floors under one roof, so people can shop to their heart's content.
When COVID hit, you had to get creative.
Yes.
And you went virtual.
Yes.
And you're still doing the virtual part
What we
of it?
do is on Friday we'll live stream.
Okay.
And we do that on Friday so that we can encourage people to come out who may not have come out to come out on Saturday as well. So we do live stream as well. And that way it gives a chance for everybody to see the vendors that are there. We also produce a full color directory like this so that people can take it with them and be able to use it throughout the year to shop.
Yeah, yeah. What feedback have you guys gotten over the years, Chuck, in terms of what people think about the event?
Well, first of all, a lot of people who have been to the event, they always come back because they find some unique purchases.
Yep.
There are people that want to support these small businesses. There are some of our vendors are bakers, and so they can go and get their cooks, their candies, this, that, and the other. So they get that stuff. They can get unique gifts. So we have that. So there's a group of people that come back all the time. And then we're always trying to capture new people all the time. So we bring stuff for the youth. We have a thing that we do with the youth. We always have a Santa Claus.
Yep.
Okay.
We give away toys every year
Yes.
for the kids. And we have some programs that are designed for the kids. We have programs that are designed for older people. So this year, we're going to have somebody come in and talk about Chat GPT. So that we can start as a community, start to understand this technology and be prepared for it as it evolves in the future. We're going to have somebody talk about working with your cell phone. We have some seniors, and 60s, 70s, 80s, they're not familiar with this smartphone and how to utilize it.
Right.
So we're going to do some things program-wise that's going to bless people.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I went, you even had some banking people in
Yes.
there. So it's not just, you come there to purchase.
Right.
There's a lot of information.
Yeah,
as
there's
well.
information. And one of the other workshops we're going to have are for people looking for home ownership. And Chuck is involved with pulling that together to make sure that we get people the information they need and understand how to prepare themselves to be able to get into home ownership, which is so critical in our community.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the numbers, that's a whole
terrible.
nother,
That's a whole
nother story.
That's a whole nother meeting.
But that's good that you'll be able to help a few people
Yeah.
in the course of a couple of days, huh?
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to create the introduction. We can't do everything on that, on that day. But what we want to do is create the introduction. So, my business is there. We're financial coaches. We talk to people about their money, investments, insurance, all that kind of jazz. But we also want to help people on the other end. Like you said, housing. The Collective Empowerment Group has a whole package to help people move into homes. The Collective Empowerment Group has a goal of putting 1,000 people into homes in the next 4 years. And so we want to make a difference. It's all about making a difference. And Halibration is part of that.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Give the location and time and where people can get some information, more information about
All
it.
right. It is on December 12th and 13th, and the location is New Vision United Methodist Church, 4400 Reading Road. You can't miss us. We're right there in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
We will be there on Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. and then on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And our Santa Claus is there on Saturday to do the greeting of the children and give toys away at noon. So that's where we're at. You can get information on our church website, and that's the other place. And you can also call 513-961-4817, which is the church phone number, to get additional information.
And you still have some opportunities for vendors?
We still do, but it's getting real short. Yeah, we have about capacity for about 65 vendors, and we're up to about 50 right now. So the next 2 weeks, people are going to be, November 1st is our deadline for the vendors, and we want to get them in so that we can get them into our directory and have them available for everybody.
Well, again, it is a great, great opportunity, a great time, those 2 days. Good luck on year 13.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for the program today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Curtis Fuller. I'll see you next time for another edition of Let's Talk Cincy. Until then, have a good day and a better day tomorrow.